Hello, friends, and welcome. Hopefully, you can hear me. I got my mic on, and I am here to lead you through a very gentle and relaxing workout with a focus on calming the nervous system and really just chilling out in preparation for some pelvic floor specific exercises. So this is a pelvic health centered workout. We're not going to actually do pelvic contractions, but this is a great workout to warm you up into that space. So we're going to go ahead and get started in child's pose, and we're going to make it a wide knee child's pose. So we're getting our knees mat width apart and extending our arms out. Now here you can option to use like a little pillow or a block or a ball for your head, whatever's comfortable for you. If you need that, if you don't, that's cool too. So in this child's pose, I want you to really focus on relaxing your hips, trying to remove and eliminate any tension in your hip creases. So this is a very active pose in the sense that you are really trying to let go as much as possible. It's like being active to be passive, really focusing on letting go. And as we focus on letting go, we can start to bring awareness to our breath and breathe into the back and breathe into any of those areas that are tight. And also think about as we exhale, to exhale any tightness. From here, we're going to come up onto our hands and knees. And we're going to do the first half of what I call the magic sequence, and we'll do the rest of it shortly. But from our hands and knees, we're going to take our right leg, stretch it long along the mat. Toes are on the mat. So we're just getting a nice little calf stretch here. You can make it static. You can do little bounces. We're doing this nice calf stretch. While we're doing this, we want to keep our shoulders relaxed away from our ears, and our chin is tucked in, so our spine is in a nice straight line. And then we're going to inhale, spin that foot down, open the arm up into a modified side plank. So really opening through the chest. This should feel really good. And it's a little bit of balance work here too, balancing on that left side. And then we're going to come back into that calf stretch. And then we're going to switch sides. So we're going to stretch out the left leg. Toes are on the mat. Little calf stretch here. It can be little bounces. Could be a static stretch, your choice. And then we're going to spin that foot down. Slowly open up. Really stretching through the back, stretching through the chest. Nice. And coming back through that calf stretch. And then we're going to push back into our child's pose again. I'm going to take a second and fix my hair because I'm realizing it's going to get all over the mic if I don't put it all the way up. So in your child's pose, again, feeling like you're filling your back with air as you breathe in. And again, trying to release any tension that you're holding in your hips. So just melt. Think about being a chocolate bar that is melting in the summer heat. You're just relaxing, letting go, maybe feeling space happening between your sitting bones, feeling an opening. And then we'll come back up into all fours, and we're going to do some cat-cow. So starting to release the spine here. When you do your cat-cow, I want you to initiate from your tailbone. So and let's also coordinate it with our breath. So as we inhale, we're going to tilt that tailbone up and look up. Exhale, starting at the tailbone, rounding, moving through the spine like a wave. Finally, your chin comes in, tucks in. And again, inhale, starting at the tailbone. And exhale, rounding. Inhaling, cow. Maybe you feel a little stretch through your abdominal muscles in the front. Exhaling into cat. One more, nice and slow. And one more cat. Head comes down last. And back to neutral. Now we're going to sit on our heels. This is where having a pillow might come in handy if that's more comfortable to you. You can have a pillow or a block. We're just going to do a little bit of side stretches here. So we're going to take our right fingertips. This is also if you need a block to meet the ground, that's okay too. We're going to inhale that left arm up. Exhale, stretch over. Inhale back up. And exhale, release. We're going to do that same arm again, left arm again. So coordinating with the breath is so important. A lot of these poses, and this is one I love to practice, coordinating with your breath. So we're going to inhale up. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. Exhale over. Inhale up. And exhale, release. Now we're going to switch to the other side, to this way. We're going to inhale the right arm up. Shoulders are relaxed. Exhale, side stretch to the left. Inhale up and exhale down. Again, inhaling up, exhaling over. Inhale up and exhale down. So we can stay on our sitting on our heels here, or you can go into a crisscross applesauce if you want, whatever, yogi's choice. But we're going to do a little cat-cow here. So how are we going to do that? We're going to bring our arms out to a T, and we're going to exhale and round our spine, bringing our arms forward. And then we're going to inhale and open up. Look up. Exhale, round forward. Inhale and open. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. We're going to come back into all fours. And we're going to start to do some hip circles. So we're going to push back almost all the way into like child's pose. And then we're going to make a half circle around to the front, almost into like up dog, but you can keep your knees bent a little bit. And then we're going to half circle back around. So we're going big circles here. Imagine your hips are tracing the outside of a peanut butter jar, and you are trying to scrape every last little bit of peanut butter or almond butter for people who don't eat peanuts out of that jar. So we're really working on mobilizing the hips, bringing energy to them. And when you like, you can switch directions. Big circles here. Nice. Getting into the hips, a little bit into IT band, inner thighs. Where do you feel it? And when you're ready, we'll come back to neutral. And we're going to do hip circles a second way, because this is all about getting into those hips. So we're going to, in all fours, we're going to shift our weight over to our left knee and our hands. And we're going to lift that right knee just a little bit and hover it off the ground. Then we're going to start to draw a circle with that knee. So clockwise, counterclockwise, your choice. We're going to do it both ways. So let's try to do about 8 circles. If you feel any clicking or popping, you hear anything, make your circle a little smaller. We're not trying to get too many pops here. And when you're ready, switch directions. We'll do about 8 in the other direction. Nice hip circles. You might feel this in your standing leg, in your left leg. And then we'll come back to neutral. If your wrists are getting tired, you can shake them out a little bit. You can always reverse your palms and get a little counter stretch for your wrists. Sometimes when we're on them for a while, they can start to get a little fatigued. And that's okay. So we're going to shift over our weight over to the right leg. We're going to make those same circles with the left hip. This is really nourishing for those hips. Don't forget that blood flow is what brings healing to any area. That is how our body transports nutrients and oxygen. And we'll switch directions when you're ready. So again, we're doing about 8 in each direction. And if you're not used to doing these, it can feel a little strenuous, but that's all the more reason to practice doing these, because hip mobility is so important, especially as we age, for staying young and staying feeling good, doing all the things we want to do. So we're going to come back. Again, we can circle our wrists a little bit and get a little bit of release there, because we're going to be on our hands for one more thing. That is, we're going to do the full magic sequence. This is the hardest thing in this routine. So if this is a little challenging, you can back off. Everything I say is a suggestion. Let your body be your guide. What do you need today? That being said, we're going to stretch our right leg. So we're in all fours. We're going to stretch our right leg just like we did before. Get that little calf stretch. We're going to spin that heel down and open into that modified side plank and really feel that chest expanding. Imagine you have a wall behind you and you're supported, opening that chest. Now here comes the hard part. This is all optional. Lift that right leg. And if you want, grab that right foot. So that's a little balance work. It's a little quad stretch. hip flexor stretch. Really nice. And then we will unwind everything one step at a time. So back to that lifted leg, back to that side plank, back to that calf stretch. Other side. Left toes along the mat, calf stretch, as deep as you need it. If you are a runner or a cyclist, maybe you need a little deeper. Or whatever you need, just listen to your body. Flip it open, modified side plank. Again, getting into that back. Opening that chest, relaxing the shoulders. So the neck is long, and then we'll lift that leg and grab the foot. Back to the lifted leg, back to the side plank. One more big stretch to the front. Calf stretch. And back to neutral. Now, if you have blocks and you're inflexible, blocks are great for the inflexible amongst us, of which I am one. We're going to come into our initial lunge and a little bit of hamstrings, a little bit of hip flexors. So for this one, we're going to bring our right foot forward. We want a 90-degree angle at our ankle and our knee with the right leg. We can have a little bit more open angle on that back leg. So we're just going to start to get a little in that hip flexor, nothing too crazy. And then we're going to walk our hands back and start to straighten that leg. Again, you want to be going about 85% of your full stretch here and maybe 90%. And we'll just walk it back and forward a few times. So we're getting a little bit into that hamstring, getting a little bit into that hip flexor. So just going back and forth, starting to kind of wake up those areas because we're going to go a little bit deeper and, we don't want to do it cold. We want to prep the body. This is all about, I've talked a lot about integrating with the nervous system and stuff. When we think about exercise, think about stretching and strengthening muscles, but we rarely talk about nerves. And our nerves are what help us stretch and strengthen our muscles. So it's just about prepping the nervous system for a little bit deeper stretch that we're going to do shortly. So we're going to switch to the other side. And again, going back and forth. You can walk your hands, or you can, depending on your flexibility level, leave them where they are. You can straighten that front leg, or you can leave a little bend in your knee. Either way, so you want to be feeling it in the front leg, in the hamstring, which is the back of the upper thigh, and in the front of the back leg. That is your hip flexors. Cool. So we're good with that. We're going to come all the way down onto our tummy. So I'm going to take my microphone and put it right here. And we're going to lower onto our tummy. And we're going to start with a Sphinx pose. So we have our elbows are directly under our shoulders. And we can have our hands clasped. We can have our hands flat on the floor, whatever is comfortable for you. You can have little fists. Really, we just want to focus on breathing into our back here, our lower back. And really relaxing and melting those hips into the ground. So you might feel the your hip bones making contact with the mat, your pubic bone. Try to really relax your glutes, really relax your hamstrings, and just let go. Another thing you can do in this Sphinx pose is to press one hip into the ground and then press the other hip a little bit into the ground. These are micro movements. I'm talking like a little bit of pressure, maybe a half a centimeter or a centimeter of movement. But when you do that, you can feel a bit of a little back massage. Maybe you feel that. Nice. Now, cobra, whether we think of it or not, it is a back bend. So we're going to always follow a back bend with a forward bend, which is our child's pose. So child's pose is a sneaky forward bend. We don't really think of it as a forward bend, but it is. We are moving our spine in that opposite direction. So just a moment here in child's pose. And how about in this child's pose, we really think about relaxing in between our shoulders and letting go there. Good. We're going to come back onto our tummy. We're going to make a pillow with our hands. So coming all the way down, we're going to make a pillow with our hands, and we're going to do some, get comfortable here. We're going to do some leg lifts. Hopefully you can hear me. So you can put your chin on your hands or your forehead on your hands. And we're just going to relax here for a moment. Feel your shoulders relax, especially your back and your hips. And then we're just going to raise that right leg a few inches off the ground and lower. We're going to raise the left leg a few inches off the ground, not bending the knee. You could have a light bend in the knee, but more or less leg is straight. Motion is coming from the hip, strengthening that hip and that glute. And we're just going to alternate. So again, we're going to go right leg and lower, left leg and lower, holding these for about 2 seconds each. And we'll just do a couple more on each side. Nice. Now we're going to, if you want an extra challenge, well, if you don't want a challenge, you can just relax here and let everything go. And if you want an extra challenge, we can do both legs at the same time, and we'll do 4 of these. Okay, so let's do it. We'll inhale, and on our exhale, we'll lift. Okay, inhale, exhale, lift, and relax. Again, inhale, exhale, lift, and relax. Inhale, exhale, lift, and relax. Last one. Like you're flying, like you're Superman. And lower. Nice. We're going to come over onto our side for some clamshells. Now, option to have a band here if you want, but we don't need it. Although it's not a bad idea, and I happen to have a band handy, so I'm going to go for the band. So we're going to get really comfortable here on our side and relax. Pillow or a ball or something to support your head if you want. We have our butt is at the back of our mat, our knees are at the front of the mat, and our feet are at the front of the mat. And we're just going to open our legs. Obviously, knees are bent like a little clamshell. So I'm sorry if it's really dark. I'm wearing, next time I'll wear light colored yoga pants because I notice I'm looking at the image. There's not a lot of contrast to see, but it's pretty straightforward. It's not a very complicated exercise. So we're going to do about 10 of these. Obviously, you're really feeling it in your hip there. Hips are the theme of this workout. I said this was for pelvic health. This is a good preparation for doing pelvic contractions and that kind of work. We're not going to do that specifically for this one. And when you want, you can switch sides. You can flip around or you can just flip over to the other side of your mat, whatever is convenient. We'll do about 10 clamshells on the other side. So again, we have our butt is at the back of the mat, knees and feet at the front of the mat. Knees are bent, and we're just going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, those are good whether you have a band for resistance or not. They are great without it too. So there you go. Okay. We're going to come back up. We're going to do a little bit deeper lunge. And it might be really helpful if you have a wall handy or can double up blocks or whatever so that you have some support. We're going to come back into this lunge that we were in before, except we're going to have our back knee in a 90-degree angle. Before we had it back a little bit, but I really want you to focus on having a 90-degree angle in the front, 90-degree angle in the back. And this time we're going to achieve that hip flexor stretch. Let me actually do this side first so I can show you. So we're going to do the hip flexor stretch. We're going to feel it right here. And we're going to achieve that by tucking the pelvis under. So this is like almost a similar but different sensation, right? Tucking the pelvis under instead of leaning forward as we normally would to get that hip flexor stretch in a lunge. Because the knee is more forward, tucking our butt under can help us achieve that stretch there. So hopefully you're all feeling that. Cool. And we'll do the same on the other side. So again, 90 degrees in the front, 90 degrees in the back, and tucking the pelvis under as much as you can until you feel that stretch in that hip flexor. The front of that left hip. That's where you want to be feeling that. And it can be pretty subtle, but hopefully you feel that there. We'll just hold it for 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to come back and we're going to sit back on our bum. And we're going to bring our knees mat width apart. And we're just going to do a little windshield wiper. And it doesn't have to be a huge range of motion. Maybe as you go, the range of motion increases a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. That's okay. Maybe one side's a little tighter than the other. Just again, bringing a little bit of motion, blood flow, healing to those hips. This is all about self-care and self-love and giving your body what it needs to be healthy. How nice. We're going to lower onto our back. We're getting towards the end, my friends. We're going to lower onto our back and we're going to extend our left leg long. We're going to hug in our right knee. So as we do this, first thing I want you to notice is your back pressing into the mat and relaxing and melting into the mat. And as we breathe, maybe we're breathing into our belly so that we feel our belly almost reaching towards that right thigh that we're hugging in. Now we're going to take this knee and almost passively, we're going to put our hands on our knee, maybe one hand, maybe both, and we're going to circle that knee around. So the motion is coming a little bit from the hip, but it's a little bit from your arm guiding that knee around. So these are circles of the knee, and when you're ready, you can try both directions. And then once again, we'll just hug that knee in, bring it into stillness. Say thank you to your leg for all that it does for you. Thank you to your knee, appreciating every part of our body for everything that it does for us all day, every day. Give it a hug. Give it some love. And then my favorite part is we're going to release it. We're going to take a little full body stretch here. And then we're going to just take a moment to notice the difference in our two legs. So doesn't that right side just feel so nice? The blood is flowing. The energy is really positive. So let's do the same on our left side. Get that same positive energy flowing. So nice little hug in the knee. As we do this and as we breathe in and bring our belly towards our leg through those deep breaths, I want you to also think about really relaxing that hip. Any muscle tension, actively relax it. Let it go. What are you holding on to there and what can you let go? Maybe also letting your shoulders go some more, your back, your right leg, anywhere you're holding tension in this pose. Let it go. And then we'll take that right leg, guide it around with one or both hands at the knee. Some little knee circles here. And switching directions. Some little circles. And then one more hug in. Again, say, thank you, leg. I appreciate you. I love you. You help me all day. Thank you. Thank you, knee. Thank you, ankle. Thank you, hip. And then let that leg relax down. And just take a moment to breathe and relax. I'm checking my list of what is next. All right. I got a good one for you. So if you have a block handy or a heavy duty pillow, you might want to have that just handy within reach. So we're going to put our feet flat on the floor, knees pointing towards the sky. And if you can, you want your heels to be around where your middle finger lays on the mat. So that's about the alignment. So knees are pretty bent, pretty squeezed in there a bit. And we're just going to do some pelvic tucks. So another option here, you can take the heels of your hands, place them on your hip bones. Take your middle fingers, place that on your middle fingers and index fingers on your pubic bone, and your thumbs meet maybe around your belly button area. And we're going to tilt. There's geese flying by outside. I can hear them. I don't know if you could hear that, but they're pretty loud. Okay, we're going to tilt our pelvis back so that our tailbone lifts slightly off the ground, and then come back to the neutral spine. So with our neutral spine, you might notice that there's a little gap between your back and the mat. That's because our spine has a natural, normal curvature to it. And when we do this pelvic tilting, we're going to eliminate that gap. So we're pressing that lower back into the ground and lifting the tailbone. So we'll do a few like this. Going back and forth, just nice and slow. So pressing into the mat, the thumbs come down with the belly button. The index finger, middle finger, they come up and back. We're doing these nice and slow, articulated movements here. And back to neutral. At your own pace is totally good. Now, we're going to take our hands and place them at the side. We're going to do that same pelvic tilting motion of pressing the back into the floor, lifting the tailbone, but now we're going to come all the way up into a bridge. So if you need to adjust your shoulders and your arms, you can do that. And then we're going to come back down. And as we come down, pressing that lower back into the ground again, and then coming back to the neutral spine. So it's almost like the bridge is a continuation of that pelvic tilting movement. That's like what your body naturally wants to do. So again, pressing the lower back, peeling the spine up off the ground into that bridge, and lowering down. And you can continue with these bridges, but you can option to put a block any height under your tailbone or a pillow and just hold a little restorative bridge here. So restorative bridge is really nice for towards the end of our workout, for allowing blood to flow back to our brain. We didn't do a very strenuous workout, but if you do a more strenuous yoga class, it's really nice to do a bridge at the end. So we can come out of that and relax for a second. And we got a couple more things. So we're going to come into a happy baby. Now there's 3 options for happy baby. We can just have our knees up, feet off the ground, and just hug our knees in. Maybe rock around a little bit. So that's option 1. Option 2 is to raise our feet towards the sky and grab around our ankles. Maybe rock around, or you can be still, whatever feels good for your happy baby. And option 3 is we can grab the outside of our feet and we can be still here or rock back and forth. whatever is comfortable for you in any of these variations. As we do this, this is one that I personally find challenging to really try to let go of any muscle tension, because I just feel like it's a pretty intense stretch. So that's where maybe coming to one of the easier variations, you can really start to let go, start to feel those hips opening and hamstrings, just really, really relaxing any tension out of there. Just hold this for another second or two, and then we're going to bring our feet back to the mat. We're going to do a very chill figure four. So we're going to leave that right foot on the mat, knee is bent. We're going to take the left foot, cross it over, and that's it. This is the chillest version of figure four that you can do. But again, as we do this, I want you to notice any tension. Maybe you have tension in your foot, in your knee, in your hips, in your shoulders, anywhere, back. Just relax, just be. Just dissolve into your mat. And then we're going to switch sides and do the other side. Taking a moment to just be here. And finally, it would not be a pelvic floor workout, or pelvic health workout, I should say, without some diaphragmatic breathing. So there's a few different ways we can do diaphragm breathing. I think we'll do it this way today. We're going to have our feet flat on the floor, hips are on the floor, hands are on your rib cage, and putting a little bit of pressure on your rib cage, right? So they're not just laying there passively. You're putting a little bit of pressure on your rib cage. If you have a friend or a partner to do this with, this is a great one to do together, because you can provide a little feedback, but you can do it for yourself. So that's what we're going to do right now. So as we inhale, we really want to feel the ribs almost separating, like almost going in two separate directions, right? So they're really expanding, really working those diaphragm muscles as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're just going to push it out nice and gradually and actively, not just letting go of the air, but actively pushing it out. So we're going to do 4 more breaths just like that. Inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, pushing it out. Okay, I'll join you for the next one. Here we go. Two more. There you go. That's all I got for you. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for this workout for pelvic health. Oh, it was almost exactly 45 minutes. Go me, that was my goal. So yay. And yeah, I will see you guys soon. If you enjoyed this, please definitely leave a comment. If you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to do, I'm totally open to hearing that. I have a really fun time doing these. I really enjoy this. I'm not like the most practiced teacher, so this is also me practicing my cueing and stuff like that. So any suggestions I'm totally open to, constructive feedback and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I hope that you feel more relaxed, more integrated, more in tune with your nervous system. We worked a lot on hips, so hopefully your hips feel a little stronger, more relaxed, more open, more flexible. That was the goal. And yeah, I will see you guys super soon. Thank you for joining me. I'll read the chat afterwards. And I appreciate you for being here. So thanks and have a wonderful day. Bye.